Hello and welcome to the Calmcast, a time to feel calm and think clearly. I'm Claire Downham, the Queen of Calm, a transformational life coach. I was a burnt out head teacher who finally made the journey to calm after years of trying, and I want to prevent you from having to do the same. The Calmcast is a series of short explorations, gently guiding you back to your natural state, which is calm and clarity. Just listen like you would listen to music, with an open mind and curiosity. There's nothing else to do. Now let's relax into today's episode. So today we're talking about perfection. Because what I want you to know is that you are functioning perfectly psychologically. You always have been, and you always will do. In fact, there's something so powerful in seeing that you are working fine. I know that right now, you might not feel that way. I mean, if you'd have told me when I was in the process of burning out and after I'd burnt out that I was working perfectly psychologically, I probably would have, not been so impressed with what you were saying. So if you're not feeling great at the moment, perhaps you're feeling very stressed out, or you're feeling anxious, or you just know that you're just not feeling as well as you might like to. And I'm talking here about emotionally, psychologically, physically. That's a whole other story, isn't it? We can talk about that too sometime. But I want you to know that you are working absolutely fine. The problem for us all is not that we are not working fine psychologically. It's that we are working within a system that we don't understand. We have multiple misunderstandings about how our psychological system works. And it's a bit like if I had no understanding about cars at all, I had never driven a car, I'd never sat in a car. Let's say I was an alien who landed on the planet, no understanding of cars, but I realised that I wanted to get somewhere, and I'd seen these human beings sitting in these metal boxes, and I thought, oh, go on, do you know what? I'll get in a metal box and see if I can go somewhere. It looks like it's a way to get somewhere. It's a way to experience nice places and nice things. And but if I had no understanding of how that system worked, I would get in it and I would be trying everything, wouldn't I? I'd be flicking switches and probably beep the horn several times, pressing the pedals. Windscreen wipers would be going off, and I might try, pressing the window buttons, and I'd probably try lots of different things. I'd then maybe try combining things together. I'll push this stick and press this lever and see if that makes it work. And you could clearly spend the rest of your life sitting in that vehicle, never going anywhere. And I wonder if that feels like a metaphor for you. If you've tried everything to feel okay, you've tried squashing down your feelings with substances or food, you've tried meditating them away, you've tried you've probably had some moments when you've gone into the world and done things to try and make yourself feel better, earned more money, got a bigger car, a bigger house, or whatever, and you still don't feel okay. It's not that you're doing anything wrong. It's just that you don't understand how you work psychologically. It's such a different way of understanding ourselves. So much simpler than everything else that's out there, because let's face it, in this attempt to manage our feelings and thoughts, We can go into so many different therapeutic settings. I think I was listening to something this morning where they said there are 450 something treatments just for depression at the moment. 450 something different ways you could get better from depression. Are there any other illnesses where you would accept that there are 450 different ways to get better? If the doctor said, "Oh, here's your menu of options for getting better from this disease, choose one," or we'll choose one, but there's 450 options. Might have to go through all 450 before you feel better, and even then, you might not feel better. You would just walk out, wouldn't you, and say, I'll sort myself out, thanks. You wouldn't trust the doctors if they did that, but bizarrely, we trust the people who say that about our psychological system. Apparently, it's okay to have 450 different options to get better from any I imagine if it's the same for if it's like that for depression, it'll be the same for anxiety or stress or anything else. I've seen posts this morning already on social media about do all these things to feel okay. But it's not that we don't have loads of things to try because we do. We can do that till the cows come home, can't we? It's that we don't understand how the system is working. And it's that misunderstanding that stops us seeing that we're okay, really. You know, the first principle is that you're fine. Like that is the first principle to under the first fact about you as a human is that your well-being is there in you right now. I don't care how you I do care how you feel, like not in that way, but it doesn't matter how you feel right now, your well-being is still there. And that's why even when we feel really awful, we can reconnect to that system because it's working perfectly. But God, do we get in the way? We think ourselves away from well-being. Like that's I've just said that for the first time out loud. We do. We're fine. And then we start thinking and we do some thinking about the thinking, and then we try to fix the thinking. We try to make the thinking go away. And we get further and further away from seeing what is already inside. And then we misunderstand what those feelings are telling us all the time. I still do it all the time, even though I talk about this and help people. I still get caught out too. We experience an uncomfortable feeling, an uncomfortable sensation, and we think that feeling is coming from somewhere other than our thinking right now. And so we go off into the world and we do things. We don't understand that the feeling is telling us about our off state of mind. So it makes perfect sense to go out into the world and do things to make ourselves feel better, whether that's shout at somebody or avoid something or, send a rude message or whatever. It it comes from that place of misunderstanding. All of it does. If you're feeling stressed out or anxious or whatever you're feeling, and you're doing lots of things to try and get rid of that feeling, you're adding more noise into the system. And therefore you're able to see less and less this innate well-being, this perfection that you are. And I think that that is such a different perspective, isn't it? From you are psychologically broken and you're going to have to keep working at this to fix yourself. So you try everything in the book and every other thing that's not in the book and all 450 ways to get better from depression, and you still feel rubbish. And you might have glimpses of feeling okay, but it's not really the life you want to live. Or you start to understand how you work psychologically, and then you just work better. Like once you've learned to drive, wow, what can you do? You can go to places, you can visit people, you can avoid those bumps in the road and those, well, that's funny actually, because that's what my fiance does when he's driving. He drives round all the holes in the road. Does anybody else do that? But yeah, you can avoid the bumps, you can avoid an accident. Mostly we tend to do that. I know there are car accidents, sadly, but most of us manage to stop in time or swerve in time to avoid somebody who's done something in front of us or behind us or whatever. Because we understand how the vehicle works, like on a really deep level. And that's what, that's what you can do. You can have conversations with people like me or a teacher who you love. Well, I'd like that to be me, obviously. and you can explore this, see how it works, and have a better experience of life. Because you're walking around in a system, you've got a good handle on how it works. Brilliant. I know how this works now. I know I've got an off feeling. It's telling me I've got off thinking. Different things make sense to do when you know that, rather than thinking it's coming from the outside world. So perfection is what you are. Your psychological system is perfect. You are perfect. I just would love you to see that on a daily basis. Thank you so much for listening. There's nothing to do now but bring some awareness to how this is working out in your life. Listen regularly to experience longer and longer periods of calm. This has been the Calmcast with Claire Downham, Queen of Calm. Take care and keep listening.